comes to TikTok, most people just go and see a platform that's full of young people and some older people doing all sorts of videos for entertainment purposes. Many of them are able to get a lot of attention and even money for doing the videos and skits really well. However, there's a cost to such things, and the biggest one being that if you're not careful, you're going to get yourself arrested. Don't get us wrong, this doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. So allow us to show you 5 videos that got TikTokers arrested. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 5. Michael Lee. On March 9th, famous TikTok star Michael Lee was at Venice Beach with his TikTok partner Jonathan, and Jonathan dared Michael Lee via TikTok Dare to go and dance on a nearby cop car. Which he happily did, and he did it right in front of the cops. So naturally the cops came over and arrested Michael for vandalism and certain other crimes, all while a bunch of onlookers, who also happened to have cameras, watched on in horror as the situation unfolded before them. When the cop car drives away with Michael in their back seat, an onlooker approaches Jonathan and wonders what's going on. Jonathan was asked about why Michael did what he did and whether it was the intent to go and vandalize the car by dancing on it. But Jonathan noted it was just a dare, a TikTok dare, and he just wanted to see if Michael would do it for 4 seconds to get the video shot. Well, he did, and he got arrested for it, and the look on Jonathan's face in the video as he's asked what he's going to do next sold the seriousness of the issue. Well, Michael came out and said he was being arrested as a prank for YouTube. Which we saw coming. Michael is way too nice to do something that dumb. Here's what people were mad about his prank situation. Doing that to a police car, even in a joke, is an arrestable offense. The public's feeling about cops are mixed, and lots of people are not happy with this little prank. The police as a whole are in a heightened state of awareness because they're being perceived by the public. They don't want to deal with anything, so someone going and dancing on their ride, well, people think it's a clear sign of disrespect, even if it was a prank. So, real or not, this was something that absolutely shouldn't be done again. You've been warned.
Hey, get up!
Number 4. Bryce Hall and Jaden Hossler. Here's one you honestly might not have heard of, and though it wasn't necessarily a TikTok arrest, it did feature major stars of the platform. 2 well-known TikTokers, 20-year-old Bryce Hall and 19-year-old Jaden Hossler, were arrested in Central Texas on drug charges in May of 2020. They're part of the Los Angeles influencer collective Sway House, whose members live together and collaborate on making videos, and each has millions of followers on the short video social network. Hall and Hossler had embarked on a road trip from Cedar Springs, Texas, where they and others affiliated with Sway House have been hosting a group of friends in defiance of stay-at-home orders since early May. Hossler was charged with possession of 2 to 4 ounces of marijuana and possession of a controlled substance, a second-degree felony that carries a sentence of 2 to 20 years in prison. Hall was charged with possession of less than 2 ounces of marijuana, a misdemeanor. As you might have guessed, the 2 were let off on bail and no serious charges were put upon them. But it was a situation that many out there talked about for various reasons. Not the least of which was that these 2 were partying heavily during the early days of the global pandemic, and this wasn't the first time they would do quarantine parties and get a lot of people talking about whether they were being responsible or not. We'll give you a little hint. They were not. Oh, you want proof of that? Okay. Number 3. The super spreader parties. In August of last year, Bryce Hall and Jaden Hossler were arrested and charged once again. Why? Because despite being in a state that at that time was on a serious lockdown to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, Hall and Hossler did videos on TikTok that showcased them hosting parties during the lockdown measures. Both were charged with violating the local emergency order and a citation for a noise ordinance. They faced up to a year in jail and a $2,000 fine. Los Angeles City Attorney Mark Foyer was cracking down on pandemic parties in the Hollywood Hills and was more than happy to make an example of these 2. We allege these hosts have been incredibly irresponsible with a highly infectious disease spreading and parties banned because of it, and we allege they violated the law. If you have a combined 19 million followers on TikTok in the middle of a public health crisis, you should be modeling great behavior best practices for all of us, rather than brazenly violating the law and then posting videos about it, as we allege happened here. On August 19th, the city shut off the power at Hall and Gray's Hollywood Hills rental with fellow TikToker Noah Beck after several warnings, citations, and LAPD visits. One neighbor recalls a SWAT team coming by. Just a few days prior, on August 14th, Hall's 21st birthday party went viral for being packed with influencers, no masks in sight. The LAPD arrived on the scene to alleged shots fired and also had to shut that one down. No gun was found. Number 2. The Egyptian TikTokers. Now, you might look at some of these incidents and ask whether they were really arrested because of their TikTok videos. Maybe not. But this particular incident in Egypt was absolutely a case of that. A court in Egypt sentenced 5 young women to 2 years in prison for posting indecent videos on TikTok. The women, who have not all been named, were fined almost $19,000, 15,000 pounds. The jail sentences are the first to have been issued by a court as part of a campaign by the authorities against social media influencers. Activists have mounted an online campaign in response, demanding the release of those detained. The Economic Court in Cairo sentenced Mawada Al-Adam and Hanin Hossam and 3 others to 2 years in prison and fined them 300,000 Egyptian pounds each. This as reported by the state-owned website Al-Aram. They are accused of violating the values and principles of Egyptian society and posting indecent photos and videos disturbing to public morals, Al-Aram added. The 3 women who were not named were also accused of taking part in inappropriate video calls with men. This is the first sentence issued by a court against female social media influencers in Egypt after a series of arrests made recently, most targeting women who are popular on TikTok. They've been charged with inciting debauchery and immorality with the content they post on the video sharing platform, although it's not always clear which videos and photos are of concern to the authorities, correspondents say. Not what you expected, was it? Various countries deal with things like TikTok in different ways, and that's to be expected. But dealing with it like this? Well, that's something else entirely. Number 1. Sonu Nayak. 21-year-old Sonu Nayak, a resident of Kundaliyavas in Isanpur who is a prominent TikToker, was arrested by Isanpur police for filming a TikTok video on the Isanpur bridge during the lockdown. This was in India, if you didn't know. The video had gone viral on social media and had reached the police. The cops identified Nayak and lodged a complaint against her on Wednesday and arrested her on charges of violation of lockdown. She was released on bail from the police station. She's a nurse at a private hospital and is famous for her TikTok videos. The video of her on the streets came out at a time when the city police commissioner Ashish Bhatia and Gujarat DGP Shivanand Jha are emphasizing enforcement of the lockdown in the city. She went to Isanpur Bridge at about 9 p.m. and recorded a video in which she says, "This our Isanpur Bridge. Moji open the lockdown," or "lie on the bridge once the lockdown open." You might think that this was a bit of a harsh arrest, but the lockdown measures in various countries are strict for a reason. They're trying to keep people safe. It should also be noted that India is having a major surge in COVID cases right now, so take that as you will. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the videos done by TikTok stars that were a bit too much and thus got the stars arrested? Can you believe that this happened to so many TikTok stars? Which ones were you the most surprised about in terms of arrests? Do you know another TikTok star that took things too far? Let us know in the comments below and be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.